Hello guys, today I want to review one of the game between Stockfish and Magnus Carlsen, age 29. And the game was in the Giuoco Piano, and it was very interesting and teaches us a lot of stuffs. So let's go through the game. Here we have a statue playing with the white pieces and Prince Magnus black pieces. So let's go. The game starts with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. Typical opening so far. Bishop c4, bishop c5, of course. And we have the move c3 now. Okay, so knight to f6, Prince Magnus plays knight to f6. We have the move d3. What happens after d4 is very common and usual. I think you guys still know that. After d4, if black captures, white usually pushes. Actually, white's aim is usually to push e5. Now it's rather tricky if you don't know this opening, and if you're not aggressive player, you just simply move your knight away and you get a lot of advantage. So here the best move for black is actually to counterattack. The counterattack the bishop. We attack his knight, then black has to also counterattack our bishop by playing the move e5. And white usually plays bishop b5. We have knight to e4, c captures on d4, and there are three usual moves that are playable for black here. One is bishop b6, one is bishop b4 check, one is bishop e7. Okay, so if bishop b4 check, we just block it with bishop d2. After takes, castles, we now play. If we play bishop takes c6, it's playable, not bad move. But the main move here is also that if bishop takes c6, b takes c6, castles, then black plays c5 on doubling the pawn and also attacking the white center. Okay, so that's the reason why bishop takes c6 is not the best move. So if you just castle, we have the move f6. If black actually plays f6 here, then it makes a little difference, a tiny difference. We know first chapter on c6, the knight. Then it takes back, then we play just rook c1, avoiding the move c5 now. Okay? So c5 we just take it. Okay? c5 we just take. So that's the reason. After the move bishop d7, we have, of course, knight to b3. It's a playable move, but the move a3 is the best move in this position. After bishop e7, we just play rook to e1. b4 is bad move because of a5. Okay, b4 is not playable of a5. So rook to e1, and now after a5, e6, bishop e8, knight to b3, a4, knight to c5, we have a just good play here. Or threat is actually to take on a4 with the knight. Knight takes a4 is a threat. So uh, that's the reason why the immediate f6 is not good. So black has to play knight to e7. Okay? Then tries to play f6. So after the move a3, bishop a5, b4, bishop b6. Now in the future he wants to maybe play f6 to break the pawn center, okay? Pawn chain, okay? So after some move like this, maybe f6 is not is already playable here. And the position is about equal. So, but Stockfish didn't go for the move d4, so it played actually d3. So after d3, d6, opening castles, a6, rook to e1, bishop a7. One move could be just now d4, but here actually black can actually retreat. His bishop goes on bishop a7. If you take it, it's a bad move because you just lost the pawn on the center and give center to the white. Okay, so it's not good move. So let's see what happens after this. CD. Now bishop a7. It's already equal, but not very good move to just take on d4 and then play bishop a7. Why not? Of course, immediate bishop a7. So here white has a strong center already. So bishop to a7, immediate bishop to a7 is the best move. It is which prime Magnus play. So after the move h3, castles, rook to e1, rook to e8, knight to g4. It could be a draw already. Okay, but Brad can avoid this by playing h6. For example, after this, we have now h6. Rook to e8, no rook to e8, we just play h6 and I want to continue the game, okay? So let's see the main right now. Okay, after here, rook to e1, bishop to a7. Now we have the move a4. So I told you that h3 is also possible. h3, h6, then knight to bd2, and then continue. So rook to e1 is already is of course playable here after a4. Okay, we get the move h6, knight bd2, and here Prey Magnus plays aggressive g5. He could have played bishop to g4. After h3, if he goes back to bishop h5, then we just simply knight f1, knight g3. Okay, knight f1, knight g3, kicking this bishop away and just the rook. And white has a straight edge here. So Prey Magnus now played g5. Of course, one of the good moves is also to castle this way, but Magnus went aggressive, played g5. So, if the opponent tries to attack you on the king side, you must somehow try to break the center, okay? So b4 was played by Stockfish, very good move. Knight to h5 is somehow dubious, okay? His threat is actually g4 to actually to trap the knight here. So if I, for example, plays this move, then g4 is deadly because this knight has no squares to go and just trapped already. So after the move, so if you play a5, then g4 then traps the knight. And of course, I should notice, I should say, turn and remember, recover that you cannot take on e5 with the trick of taking, because we have what? Knight takes e5, and then if you take the knight, then bishop g4 just simply traps your queen. So, right chapters, if you take, then what? As I said, bishop g4, and your queen is just trapped. You have the tactic of bishop takes f7. You have this return tactic, but what do you do after queen to d7? Your just queen is just trapped. Nowhere to go now. After d4, we just take the queen and just win the game easily. Okay, knight to d3 minus. Okay, so you can actually you can't take because of queen takes g4. That's obvious. Okay, so this tactic doesn't work already. Stockfish plays g3, preventing the knight coming to f4. Now he plays queen to f6. Black plays queen to f6. Magnus plays queen to f6, which is somehow dubious. He could have tried g4 after knight to h4. We have this return tactic. Knight to f4. Yes, knight to f4. If you take, I just take your knight. So, knight to f4. What is the threat? The threat is knight to h3 check, and bishop takes f2. So, white has to be careful here. After, for example, if white is just curious, okay, sloppy curious, okay, here goes knight to f1 now. Knight to h3 means king g2. We have bishop takes on f2. So, what should white do now to deal with this threat? Is one of the moves could be rook f1, queen f6. Now the threat is knight to h3. Okay, sorry guys, I just came back now. If white actually plays the move f5, then we have the move knight to h3 check, king g2. We have, if knight takes f2, this is wrong. Computer suggests knight to e7. This or this is wrong because we have that just queen to e2 and we just win a piece here because of this pink, okay? So black cannot capture that immediately. Instead, he has to play knight to e7, but this move a5 is just nonsense. Doesn't do anything about it. So, uh, as I said, he could have tried g4, but the main line continues by playing queen to f6. Queen to f6. We have d4 from Stockfish, very deep indeed. d4 has a lot of plans to break the center with the consequences of the move b4, b5 next. Okay, so d4, d4, b5, okay, is his plan. It starts his plan. Okay, so if black goes continuous with g4, which happened in the game actually, okay, g4 was the main move. It could have continued maybe with just castling. So let's see the line castling. Okay, so no. First, let's see what did happen after e takes d4. The simple line. Okay, e takes d4. We have another move. Standing move e5. Okay, d takes on e5. We have knight to e4. It's also kind of Magnus play himself. Magnus has a lot of games that sets the pawns just to activate his pieces. Okay, so he plays this. Okay, to allow e5. Then what happens? Then his knight gets active suddenly. And this was also the Stockfish plan in this game. So knight to e4. If queen to f5, we have the move now b5. Okay. So after a takes b5, a takes b5, knight to e7, we have the standing move knight takes e5. Okay. If black just captures, we just capture the g5 pawn, and there are a lot of threats already. Here, here, a lot of threats, and white just wins the piece back with a lot of advantage. Okay, so uh, as we said, this line. Okay, knight to e4. If black plays, if Magnus plays queen to g7, then we now have to move b5. If g4, then we just takes, c takes b7, bishop takes b7, we have just queen takes f3. The threat is to take the knight, and after the move queen to g6, we have the beautiful move queen takes h5. Tactics. If not takes, then we have knight to f6, forking the king and the queen, and we just simply take that back, and we just up a piece here. Okay, so what does actual black can play here? This position, I don't think there is anything special here. Computer suggests he takes c3, but it's of course many after this millimeter piece. So let's go back to the main line here and discuss what happens. After the move d4, Magnus played the move g4. One possibility could be castle, of course in this one, castle. Some of the best moves, castles, b5, knight to a5, hitting the bishop. Bishop gets back to a2, knight to g7, king to d2. And here actually Bright's idea was maybe to go bishop h3 here to somehow supplicate white's king. So knight to g7, king d2 stops actually bishop to h3, okay? It takes on b5, we just recapture after the move c6, we have the move bishop a3, rook to d8 is wrong because of the tactic. If you immediately just get away of that track by just playing rook to d8, you just have this simple that rook takes, bishop takes on d6, rook takes on d6, we have d takes on e5, and we just finish. After this, we just win the rook. So Brad should just play rook to e8 here. After bishop, if of course we should notice that after this move, then we have the nice move d takes e5. Okay, yeah. So okay, back again, guys. Sorry. We have d takes e5, and we just win it. So. Okay, queen f6, d4, Magnus went for g4 now. We have now again the move b5, knight to a5, knight to h4, castles. Oh no, e takes c4 was played. One possibility is that one trick that I said earlier was to play knight to f4. But if I just take, it's obvious stuff here, which is already also good for white by playing bishop d5. If e takes on f1, then there is knight f1, and the threat is to take on f4. If black goes f3, we have still bishop f4 to go maybe bishop g3 maybe after c6. Yeah, bishop a2, bishop b6, bishop takes d6, and after queen to h3, there's just knight to e3, okay? So, the game didn't continue like that, but Magnus should have done this. But he took instead on d4, which is inaccuracy. Now, Stockfish went for its original plan, e5. He takes on e5. Now we have knight to e4, yeah. Knight to e4 into g7. We have now bishop to a2. Castles. Bishop to a3 hitting the rook. So rook to e8. The threat is, of course, the... Oh, maybe black doesn't have a certain threat. Maybe bishop b6 or d3. Maybe d3 is... Yeah, d3 seems strong because it opens the diagonal for his bishop and also protecting the pawn. So bishop to e7 played by Stockfish, rook to e8, bishop to b4 hitting the knight. We have bishop b6 protecting the knight. C takes c4. We have rook to d8, queen to c1, and here is a nice plan actually to hit this pawn. You say why, how and why? Because bishop d2 and we're just threatening to take the pawn. And that actually happened. Magnus played king to h7, protecting this pawn. So here just captures. Okay. After king to h7, now we again play bishop c3. If Magnus played f5, but we say why just rook to d8 was not playable here because of knight to c5. Knight to c5, exclamation mark. If bishop takes c5, we have now rook takes on e5, threatening to take this, and this, okay? So after bishop to d4, takes, and now we have the move rook h5, or a better move could be queen c2, f5, now rook a1. And we just asked Brad, how do you want to defend the e7 square? If rook e7, then queen is gone. So rook e7 just hits the queen and the king. So if Brad tries to protect it by rook to d7, then we have rook to d7, we have knight takes on f5 here. So, or just queen takes on f5, knight takes f5 was also fine, but queen takes f5 is actually mating 3, rook e8 we have, then queen to f8, then just take, king to d7, we have just rook g8 mate. So that's why during the rook back doesn't work. So Magnus just played f5 here. We have now queen to c2. After a takes on b5, a takes on b5, queen to d7. We have bishop takes d4, bishop takes d4, rook a1. Maybe in the future we just want to take and open this file. So c6 was played. Now actually our plan is to take on d4, and if it takes on d4 then we just take the queen. So Magnus played queen to f8, we have knight to a4, c takes on b5, rook takes on d4 anyway, with the pawn takes on d4, we have knight to b6, and here we saw a nice tactic from Stockfish. Here, knight to b6, and we are just attacking the rook and the bishop. Okay, so if black goes this way to protect the bishop, then we have the move queen c7, and after the king moves or knight to g7, we have just queen takes b8 and we win. So Magnus tried rook a6, but we simply checked on c8. If this move was played, then we go queen to b1. Kidding? After queen to c8, we just have knight takes on f5. Okay, a lot of threats here. This diagonal is very perilous. So Magnus saw that, of course, and went for knight c4. We have bishop b1, knight to g7, knight to e7, knight to a3, forking the queen and bishop. queen to d3, knight takes b1, and here we just don't want the piece back, and we go for knight e takes on f5. Okay, after if the move knight takes f5 was just played, but let's see what if Brad wants to actually relieve his knight from danger and goes to knight c3, for example. What happens then? We have knight e7. Okay, if Brad goes this way, then we have this check. After takes, we just win the queen. So if knight to f5, then of course we just take and we have the same tricks. Okay, so knight to c6 is not possible here for black, and also one of the other moves could be why rook 3 not working, because we just take on b1 and then we have the same tricks. Okay, we just take on b1 and a lot of tricks still persists. Okay, so knight to f5 was just great. Knight to f5, knight takes f5. We have rook to another try could be this, but then we have just knight takes d4. Okay, and we just grab the knight on the next move. We cannot take immediately because our knight is just hanging there. Okay, so must take care of that. Okay, Magnus went for rook f6. We have knight e7 check, king g7. Queen takes on d4, pinning the rook. Knight to c3 was displayed, and Stockfish just takes on c3, and the threat is of course knight to d5. Okay. After queen to d8, we have just queen to e5. After the move b4, knight to d5, and just trade off pieces, and here just Magnus resigned in this position because rook b1 rotates b4 in response or handling, and do not fall for rook. So thanks for watching this video. Please like and comment on the video, please. See you next time soon. Goodbye for now, guys.